Hello, I'm Catherine Maguire. Welcome to the Soul Alchemist Podcast. If you are on a journey of personal or spiritual growth, you are in the right place. It's my desire each week to share wisdom, inspiration, and practical tools with you to help you remember the essence, the glorious, unique, divine essence of who you truly are and reconnect to your inner gold. It's so gorgeous to have you here on what is a cold, windy, and snowy day, if you can believe that, in southern Italy. So, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I hope you're well and warm. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying the high days of summer. Okay, so last week we were talking about logic and clarity and the difference between logic, which happens in your mind, and clarity, which is a deep knowing in your being. And I want to take a step further this week. So if you've been hanging out with me on this podcast for any amount of time, or if you're one of my clients, you know I love a good archetype, and we have an archetype for clarity. And that archetype is your inner sovereign, which is your inner king, your inner queen. So if you think about it this way, your sovereign, your inner king, your inner queen is the aspect of you that sits on the throne of your life. Okay. You are sovereign in the realm of your life, in the kingdom of your life. And when you are sovereign in the kingdom of your life, you are calm, you are centered, you are coming from a place of integrity. You're connected to your life force, you're energized, and your realm is thriving, whether that is the realm of your inner world, the realm of your personal life, the realm of your family and your relationships, or the realm of your work life and your business. It's thriving. And you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration for others, not from doing, not from forcing, not from rushing, not from slaying. You're a realm by being the essence of who you are. You're an inspiration by being the king or the queen, and that energy radiates up and through you. And you also know that you're connected to something bigger. You're connected to the earth, you're connected to the heavens, you're connected to the cosmos, connected to the divine, whatever your language is around that. But you know you're part of something bigger. All right. And you feel held. So that is your sovereign. That's your king. That's your queen. And the thing about the king or the queen, you'll know if your inner king or your inner queen is offline because you won't have clarity. You'll find it hard to make decisions. You won't have a sense of purpose. You won't have a sense of vision for your life, and you won't be energized. All right. So connecting to our inner king, inner queen gives us all those things: clarity, vision, direction, and energy. Okay. And this is a really important energy in our modern world because we ain't got any. So there are very few authentic kings and queens in the world. And I don't mean people in leadership positions, and I don't mean people in positions of authority. I'll get there in a second. But I mean, very few of us have actually stepped fully into what it means to be sovereign in ourselves, in our own agency, in our own authority, to sit on the throne of our being. There are many princes and there are many princesses. There are many despots, but there are very few kings and queens. Okay? And there's a reason for that. One of the reasons being is that we have very few role models for this. Okay, we have very few role models for what it looks like to be a king or queen in balance. And often when we look at movies or films or out into the world, what we see is this archetype out of balance. So we have very few role models. And the other reason that we struggle with this archetype is that to step into the inner king or the inner queen requires us to go inwards into our inner world and do the inner work in a whole new way. Because to be the king or to be the queen, you have to hold your light and your dark. And you have to take all your projections, positive and negative, back from where you're putting them in the world. So what's a projection? A projection is when there is a part of our psyche, a part of our being that we don't want to take ownership of. We project it onto another and point our finger at them. So a negative projection would be, He is so, she is so, they are so aggressive, angry, boorish, patronizing, whatever it is. All right. But you know you're in projection when there's a charge, when there's an emotional charge. So she's so whatever, she's so, gossipy, or she's such a busybody, or he's so domineering. All right. Because there's a charge. If there's a big projection, instead of projecting onto one person, you'll project it onto a whole group of people or a whole country. All right. So they are so. So that's when you know you're in projection. But we also project our gifts, our light, our gold, which is she is so amazing. She is so talented. She is so creative. He is so inspirational. All right. They are so. All right. So to step into the king and queen, we have to take all those projections back, our light, the golden projections we put on others, and our dark, the shadow projections we put on others, and take them back in and alchemize them. And when we do that, we gain access to a few things. We gain access to our power. We gain access to the depth and the breadth of who we are. So it's like we get our roots. We feel centered in ourselves. We feel grounded in ourselves. And we also, when we take back our projections, we see ourselves, our life, and the world clearly. And that's how we get extra access to clarity. All right. Because we're not projecting our story. We're not projecting our woundings. We're not projecting our shadows onto the world. All right. The big wounding of the sovereign, the big wounding of the king or the queen is the fear or the belief that you're not good enough. All right. So that's the shadow. If you don't know your shadow is always stalking you. All right. You can't believe, you can't trust, you can't know in your bones that you're good enough. And it's not about scrubbing the slate clean. It's absolutely not about doing that, but it's about knowing what's in there. I know in my shadow, there's a part of me that has a ferocious temper, right? But I've met it and I know it and I alchemized it. It also means I know not to act from my temper. All right. But I know it's there. But I know that force, that energy that I can use if I want to get something done. If I'm like, I can use that same energy for motion, for direction. All right. But not blasting it out at someone. All right. Because I'm annoyed. All right. So if we don't know what's in our shadow, we're always being stalked by the fear that we're not good enough. And similarly, if we don't make peace with our gold, our light, our gifts, we're always comparing to others. Well, she's more sparkly, or he's more creative, or she's more, luminous, or he's more talented, whatever it is. All right. We're always in that comparison of not good enough. All right. So it's to know your gold and know your gold, your gifts are unique to you. Nobody else has them. Nobody else has them because your gifts come through you as you. So you bring a particular color, a particular fragrance, a particular hue to what you do. You can have 10 songwriters, but you will all write songs differently because that gift is coming through you. You can have, a whole village of mothers, but your gift at mothering is coming through you. You can be a CEO of a business, but your gift of being, the leader of a business in a leadership role comes through you. Okay, so it's to trust that. So what does that mean to be, sovereign? What does that mean to be the king or the queen of your own life? It means you have agency. It means you feel empowered, because if not, we're acting from a place of insecurity. We're acting from a place of irrationality, and we can abuse our power. And I know when I say that, loads of people can, it's like your mind automatically goes to people in the world who you think are abusing their power. But I would ask you just to take that projection back for a second and go, where are you abusing your own power? And you probably go, well, Catherine, no, I'm not. Excuse me, I'm not. I don't abuse my power. But if you're being self-critical, or if you're being critical to people in your life, that's an abuse of your power. All right. If you're not showing up fully as the gold that's inside you, that's an abuse of your power. All right. So this is why I'm saying that projection is such an important part of this archetype. So we really need to be courageous, really courageous and willing to look into the shadows of our being and go, okay, what have I hidden in the shadows? The dark and the light. What are the bits of myself I don't want to see? What are the bits of myself I'm afraid of? And how can I take them out and have a really good look at them and integrate and alchemize all the parts of me? Because when I am clear in my being about who I am clear in my being about the life I want to live and how I want to show up in the world. Okay? So my question to you today, I always like to leave you with a question is, where are you holding the belief that you are not good enough? Okay? Maybe it's in your shadow. Maybe it's in your gifts. Okay? Dark or light. Where are you holding the belief that you're not good enough? Okay? Where do you project onto others? So look to people in the world in a leadership role and see what you project onto them. So you may project onto a politician, you may project onto a singer, I don't know. But who are you projecting onto? Whether you're projecting your shadow onto them or you're projecting your gold onto them. And you'll know you're projecting because there's an emotional charge. All right? And then I would ask you, how would it be? How would it be if you sat on the throne of your own life? How would it be if you sat on the throne and took agency and responsibility and sovereignty for the kingdom, the realm of your life? And if that scares the bejesus of you, that's okay. That is okay. But underneath that wobble, is there something go, oh, maybe that would be good. Maybe that would be good. All right. Because when we can sit on the throne of our realm, when we can take our agency back, when we can really become one with that sovereign energy, that inner king or queen, then we become role models in the world. And that is one of the ways we change the world. Nobody's coming to save us. There is no government, no politician, no leader coming to save us. We have the power and the potency within ourselves to be the change. It's that phrase, be the change you want to see in the world. But to be that, you have to take your agency back. You have to take your sovereignty back. So how would it be to step into your own agency, your own sovereignty, and to be that in the world? So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. And you can feel it. This is a big and potent archetype. It is a big and potent topic. But it's why we're here. And it's why we have come. We did not come to live small lives where we hide from our shadows. We came to alchemize our shadows, the dark and the light, and to step forward to be us truly, royally in the world. So that's what I want to leave you with today. Let me know how you get on with your explorations. And this is part of the work I do. I work with these archetypes with my clients. So if you want to take a deep dive into that, get in touch. Catherine at catherinemaguire.com. These are big archetypes and I love working with them. But for today, where do you feel you're not good enough? What are you projecting onto others, the dark and the light? And how might it feel if you let yourself for a second imagine sitting on the throne of your own realm, knowing the fullness, the completeness, the breadth and the depth of who you are and accepting it all. Have a gorgeous week. Sending so much love from my throne to yours. And I'll see you next week for some more. Ciao.